He knows he did wrong. He knows he did wrong. And he's going to get it. When we were small, I don't know if it's maybe a vernacular or a language thing, but they used to call us Tunsal. And when I came to Vrindavan, I heard this is how they also call their small children. It's an affectionate name, but it's like how Prabhupada would say rascal. So in Vrindavan, they would say Narakat, Narak, that you escaped from hell and giving me hell here. That you are so naughty, you are a resident of hell, and you seem to have escaped from there, and now you're coming here and giving me trouble. So all these names were strong names, but they were said with affection. They were affectionate names that the older generation would call us to say, you're causing so much mischief here. So Krishna is doing the same thing, and Mother Yashoda is also watching this whole thing, and now she's discerning how to go about this, because she has two objectives, one to teach him and the other to nurture him. So she has to see that he's not completely freaked out, that he can't relate to, because if he breaks his bond with Mother Yashoda, who else he'll relate to after that? So she can't terrify him, but she wants to teach him. So we'll see as the pastime unfolds, that becomes her driving force. We'll see that when she ties Krishna, it's not that she's tying him because he did naughty. No, she's tying him because he doesn't run away out of fear. We'll see how that unfolds. So Mother Yashoda is looking at this and see, Krishna, you're so restless, just like a monkey. That's why you're feeding the monkeys all this butter and yogurt and things like that, because you're also so restless. And we know that with boy children, girls are little more. Girls are, saintly. You just give them something to do, and they're so sweet. They'll just be busy. Anything, whatever mother gives, they're very obedient to listen. Boys, boys are a very different story. They're very restless. So you have to, to take care of boys it needs much more energy. Mother has to be much more expert now to engage these fellows so that they are pacified, that they're learning, that they're safe, that they're okay, and that they are happy. So she learns, but it takes double the energy to take care of boys. So when we're looking at this whole pastime, we are also assessing that what can make God fear like this, that he's looking in this way and that way and he's scared. What can make God scared? He's the supreme hero. He's aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravatyate, that everything is emanating from me. But what can then make him fearful? What kind of intense love, what kind of love is so intense that it's even making the Supreme Lord fear, that he's looking all around, he's scared of Mother Yashoda? What kind of love is this? This is what us as devotees relish when we observe it. This is what Satyavrata Muni is looking at, and he's relishing this because he knows this is Namam Ishwaram. This is the Supreme Lord. I know you, the Supreme Lord. But look in front of this cowherd woman, Mother Yashoda, you are trembling in fear. What is this? What kind of love, what kind of relationship can make you tremble like this? This is so astounding to observe, and this is what is bewildering Satyavrata Muni as he's observing this. So we go on in the translation. Mother Yashoda, upon seeing him, very cautiously approached him from behind. So she's concerned, but she doesn't want to scare him and terrify him. You know, when a child is completely terrified, because mother is somebody he can always go to for protection. But if that person is now creating the anxiety, then who does a child go to? So see what is Mother Yashoda's biggest concern right now. Her concern is that Krishna is pacified, Shanti. He becomes peaceful. Then when he's peaceful, he's able to compose himself. Then only I'll teach him the lesson. So this is Mother Yashoda's mindset right now. The priority is not to teach him. It's not to, she didn't bind him up to teach him a lesson. She bound him so he doesn't run away. That's a very beautiful part and a very subtle part of the Leela that comes out, especially when we read this chapter. If you just read it in the Damodarastikam, you won't catch this point. But if you read it here, you can see we are feeling the bhava, the mood, the deep emotional connection that Mother Yashoda has to Krishna and how she's thinking, how she's feeling. So each part of this Leela, each part of the different emotions is actually deeply explained in Nectar of Devotion. But it's done on the other waves. When we study in Bhakti Shastri, we just do the Eastern wave because it's the basic understanding. But as you advance, as you grow, like Prabhupada was saying, this is for advanced devotees, that you start to go to the Western wave, the Northern wave and the Southern wave of Nectar of Devotion. And each motion, each activity of Mother Yashoda and baby Krishna here is explained by Rupa Goswami. Each of these have terms, the fear, the anxiety, the way Mother Yashoda is thinking. Each of these have terms in Bhakti Shastras, in Bhakti scriptures. And remember, this is just the summary study. What we do, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is the summary study of the Nectar of Devotion. If you actually have to read the Nectar of Devotion itself, it's very, very in-depth. And then you get the sequel to that, Ujjvala Nilamani, which is even more in-depth and intense. So just see how scientifically and how in-depth the Bhakti Shastras are. It's not that you just, oh, I love God, I dream about God, I love God. Those may be there, but each of these is explained in great detail in a philosophical way as well, so that it doesn't just become sentiment. It's not just that your sentiment is there, which is required, but it's also supported and backed up by Shastra. This is a very important point for devotees to understand. You must be able to back up your practical emotional experience with philosophy. Otherwise, it will be sentiment. And sentiment could come from the mind. Actually, it does come from the mind. So if it's just sentiment coming from the mind, then we are playing games within the mind. We're not actually experiencing bhakti. We're not experiencing the deep level of the soul. Yayatma supasiddhati. We're not experiencing devotion or consciousness that is coming from the depth of the soul. So we have to be very careful. Therefore, we need to be guided by a spiritual master or somebody who knows the Bhakti Shastras, that can share with us, this is what you're experiencing. Yes, this is what is explained in the scripture. It must correlate. If it doesn't correlate, then it's just sentiment, and it very well could be from the mind. So this is a very deep point to understand. So Prabhupada says in the purport, Mother Yashoda was able to trace Krishna by following his butter-smeared footprints. So now the evidence is complete. We have enough evidence now to find out who, until this point, it was still circumstantial. It could have been the monkeys, it could have been anything. But now that we see that Mother Yashoda has found that, oh, there is footprints here in the butter. Oh, this is only one person. So when she's looking at those footprints, Krishna's footprints are it's marked with different symbols. And we see that when Akrura, in the 38th chapter of Krishna book, when he came to Vrindavan, the first thing he saw was a footprint of Krishna, and he went into ecstasy. Just seeing Krishna's footprint. He jumped off his chariot, went down into the dust of Braj. And this is the way the Acharyas tell us. This is how we should enter Vrindavan. Vrindavan is to be entered in a very humble mood. We are alien there. We don't, because our consciousness is still conditioned, we don't belong there right now. So when we follow in the footsteps, of the Mahajans, the great devotees. Then by following their footsteps, Vrindavan Dham is revealed to us. Like Prabhupada was saying in the purport, that you have to have an inhabitant of Vrindavan has to teach you about Vrindavan. If you have to follow the inhabitants of Vrindavan, Prabhupada was saying in the previous purports. So until we have such a person, it's on our own merit we can't enter Braj. So we can see Krishna is definitely the one who has done this. So the purport goes on. She saw that Krishna was stealing butter, and thus she smiled. So this is one of the pleasures also, because she's seeing, just see how naughty this fellow is. So she's ambivalent, she's mixed feelings, because one, she knows he did wrong, but mother also enjoys that. When child does wrong also, mother also enjoys that, because he's growing. This is how he's learning. If he's not naughty, if naughty things were bad, then why mother, when she's gossiping next door, she tells all the naughty things this fellow did? Gossip means all the naughty things only, right? If the gossip is not sweet, gossip is not nectar, no naughty things. So gossip means all these kind of things. This is what he did. Can you believe he broke the pot and walked on the yogurt and feed the monkeys? All this, somebody hearing, oh. So this is Krishna. Even the gossip about Krishna is also nectar. So Mother Yashoda is looking at this and she's smiling. Because smile means many things. Smile means there's 38 different kinds of smiling. So they have all different meanings. So when we see Mother Yashoda, and that's only a material smile, what to speak of the spiritual smile? So even when we see, so this smile by Mother Yashoda, she knows, oh, he thinks he's clever. So there's so many beautiful things that come up just from this. This is Bhagavatam. Just from seeing that Mother Yashoda smile, so many beautiful things come to mind. And we can see what she's thinking. Why did she smile? So many things she's thinking. And out of all of these things, she's actually relishing this. Although he's done so much mischief, she has to clean all this up now. But she's relishing that my child is growing. This is a very sweet exchange. So Prabhupada continues in the purport. Meanwhile, the crows also entered the room and came out in fear. So this was a very sweet detail, because I didn't know this before that even crows entered now, because the butter is smeared everywhere. So crows, they are opportunistic. So we know that the crow is not the most auspicious bird in our understanding. But we see here it's part of Krishna's pastimes. That's why very earlier on we were saying, usually we only want to be gopis and cowherd boys and manjaris and all the Mother Yashoda. Prabhupada was warning against that in the previous purports, that don't try to be Mother Yashoda, try to serve under Mother Yashoda, otherwise this is Mayavad. This also helps us to see that even a crow, such an inauspicious bird in our situation, but in the spiritual world, it's a devotee and it's part of Krishna's pastimes. So who is saying that the goal of my life is to be a crow in Vrindavan? So nobody is speaking like that. Why? Because it shows we still have upadhis, designations. Sarvapadi vinair muktam tatparatvena nirmalam. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. That Sarvopani Vinir Muktam, that give up all these, does you see how subtle designations go? Right to the point where we even repose them into the spiritual world. Oh, I only want to be a gopi, nothing else. So just wanting to be, do you deserve to be? Or is that your sthai bhav, your swarup? So we have to be very careful. We can't bring in material conditioned understandings and repose it into the spiritual world. It doesn't fit in there. We have to qualify ourselves to serve there. We have to qualify ourselves. That's why when Satyavrata Muni is observing this, he is observing this Leela and trying to figure it out in his deep meditation. Due to the blessings of Narada, he had this beautiful vision of this pastime. And actually, in terms of Damodarastikam, from here onwards is where the Damodarastikam meditation is being described. When we catch the Damodarastikam, then we're catching it from this point in the pastime. So it's beautiful to see the meditation unfold. So it's from here that Satyavrata Muni is seeing this and is observing Mother Yashoda. So Prabhupada continues, thus Mother Yashoda found Krishna stealing butter and very anxiously looking here and there. So Satyavrata Muni is describing this, and it's beautifully described in the first verse of the Damodarastikam. Namamishwaram Sachetananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yasoda Biyo Lokala Davamanam Param Dristyamatyantato Dhritya Gopya. So we see Satyavrata Muni praying here that I know who you are, my Lord. You are the eternal Lord, and your body is made of Satchitananda. Namam Ishwaram. I'm offering my pranams to you. I know who you are. But here you, like a little child, it's so confusing and it's so enchanting. Namam Ishwaram and Satchitananda Rupam. I know your form is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. But when I'm seeing this form of Damodar, this form of Bal Gopal, baby Krishna, it's so enchanting. It's different from your other forms of God, where we have to have a certain mood there to reciprocate and relate with you. Here, the nature of the soul just comes out to love you. Because who doesn't love a little child? It's very natural that this mood of love comes out in this form. And then he describes the beautiful features of Krishna. First he describes the ornaments, the shark-shaped earrings. Kundalam. Kundal is this earrings. And Krishna has these earrings that are shark-shaped. I remember when we were dressing Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan, then one of the things we would dress him at night, we had a tiger claws. This is something that they would use also. So one for Krishna, one for Balaram. The actual real claw of a tiger. So it was set into a gold locket and we would dress them with that. So these are some of the ornaments Krishna uses. So Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. So this beautiful earrings that are hanging from your ears. Such simple decorations. Simple, because the beauty of the Lord is more. That's why as pujaris we always say that to appreciate the deities more, see the night dressing. Because during the day dressing it's too much of opulence. And you miss the beauty of the deity. But in the night dressing, it's very simple. Just one set of jewelry, one set of ornaments, simple, one garland. And at summertime, we don't even put chadar for them. So you can really see the beauty of the deity. So Satyavrata Muni is looking at this Damodar, Krishna, Bal Gopal, and he's just being enchanted by each step of Krishna's beauty, each part of his different features. And by observing this, he's saying, you are just shining here, my Lord. You are just shining in this realm of Gokul. That you are just shining here in this realm of Gokula. You are just making all these people so happy, all these inhabitants so happy. And then he's observing it in terms of the pastime which is about to unfold. In Damodarastikam is described, you are running from this, quickly running. You know, when a child runs, everything about it is just so beautiful to observe. But now when mother is running behind you, this is even more enchanting, because hey, just see what happened here. This small fellow is running and mother is running behind. Not only that, she got stick. So he's observing all of this, and it's just so enchanting. So enchanting to Satyavrata Muni just looking at this. And then finally she even catches him, so it's like, it's such a beautiful sight to see. She runs and he's running and she catches him. So Satyavrata Muni is observing this pastime and he's saying, I offer my obeisance to you, my Lord. That what is this Leela like this that is so enchanting, where you completely bewilder the devotees by your beauty, by your innocence, by your bhava, and more so you are showing the world the love of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, how superior that is over anything else. That's why Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan, so he can observe this. And we see in the Brahma Stuti, Lord Brahma's prayers that we are doing during Purushottam month, he also observed this. So, and how amazing it was that he didn't become bewildered by Krishna's power of moving the cows and the cowherd boys. He became bewildered by Krishna's beauty. And when he put this together, he's saying, my Lord, how amazing, how enchanting is this, that you can bewilder somebody by your beauty or by your innocence of your activity, human-like activity. So this is why Damodar Leela is so enchanting, because it's so relatable. As human beings, when we see a little child, we can relate so much to it, but also we seeing the deep connection with the devotee being part of the Leela. When the devotee is interacting with the Lord within the Leela, that becomes very enchanting. And this is Krishna's advertisement. This is what Krishna is sending out to us, that this is what you're missing out on. You are being enchanted by all this illusion in this material world. Just see this. This is enchanting. This is lovable. This is the real satisfaction of the heart that you are searching for. Other than this, nothing else will satisfy one. So this beautiful Damodarastikam continues. I hope you enjoyed the class today. Please join us again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.